So lathe finishing is one of the simplest tool paths you're going to run. It's basically very similar to the milling tool path called contour, whereas you just select the line of the feature that you want to machine, and it's going to follow that line, and it's not going to deviate. So it's only going to take one pass, unless you specify otherwise, and it's just going to follow the line that you select. So we already had the part roughed. We already have it faced, and now we're going to do lathe finish, which again is under the turning tab next to the roughing command. It's titled finish. Unfortunately, there's no good way to just select the last previous chain, so we need to reselect it like we did last time. So we're going to go ahead and select the bottom of the front chamfer and then the back line of the part contour like we did last time. So again, we'll be skipping past the groove, and we'll just be going from the beginning of that chamfer all the way up to the top of the part. So when you have that chain selected, we can click OK. And what we're going to do now is we're going to select a different tool this time. We're looking for a finishing tool, which is going to be, for our case, let's say T0505, which is the 35-degree right-handed finish turn. And then for a comment, we're just going to say finish turn the part. We're not going to leave any material for any other processing, so that's all going to be at 0. And then the default speeds and feeds are fine. So inside of finish parameters, as I mentioned, it's fairly simple. It just wants a finish step over, a number of finish passes, and if you're going to leave any stock in the X and the Z. So in our case, we're not going to change anything. We're just removing the 20 thousandths that we left on the previous operation. We'll do it in one pass. The finish direction is correct. We are going to adjust the lead in and lead out with the same values that we did on the rougher. So we're going to go into lead in and lead out. We'll leave lead in alone. Switch it to the lead out tab. We're going to extend that by 200 thousandths, just as we did previously. We'll click OK. And then we want to confirm that our plunge parameters, again, are skipping the groove, so no plunging allowed. And that is basically it for finish. The biggest thing to look at is to make sure you have the correct tool. You don't want to be using the T0101 for the 80-degree. You want the 35-degree finishing tool. And you want to make sure it's right-handed and not left. So at this point, we'll click OK. We'll go ahead and select the back plot, and we will let that run. And again, I'm just expecting the tool to basically come in here, touch the chamfer, and follow the chain that we selected all the way up and around, skipping the groove. We can check the tool nose and make sure it's right on the part, which it is. Let that run slowly. Same thing, check the wall, tool nose looks good. Radius looks good, and then we should get that same 200 thousandths extension that we did on the previous ones. Great. One thing we may want to change here, you see we're leaving a tool nose. If we change the angle of the lead out so that it actually goes straight up, it may actually leave a cleaner area for our cutoff tool to come into later. So I'm going to go ahead and have that go straight up in a way, and I'll regenerate that. You see that creates a sharp edge in the back rather than that angled leftover piece that we were leaving before. So we'll do that, come back around, and you should see it go straight up this time. There it goes. So that's it for finishing. Again, it's a very simple tool path, but just one that I wanted to make sure that we talked about before we moved on to grooving and threading. So look forward to those videos coming up shortly.